My name is Samuel Trapp. Good morning. I am also called, self-called on my own little YouTube channel, the Rusko Говорящий Amerikanец, the Russian-speaking American. And I listen to Russian political radio a lot. I listen to American political radio a lot. It's probably a problem, but I do it anyway. I'm currently a real estate broker in Florida, a real estate broker in Missouri. I'm a permanently suspended attorney in Missouri. You can read all about that horror story and the injustices that occurred in my personal case. I'd be happy to debate them at any time with anyone and discuss what happened to me, because it's really BS. It's not that I don't swear. I'm kind of selective when you get it. And today I wanted to talk a little bit briefly, as possibly, sometimes it's impossible because I talk too much, but wanted to talk a little bit about the death penalty. So when you're a person like me and have been screwed by the system, take away your life, your livelihood, without going to jail. Now, I got a lot to be thankful for in my life. That's true. I'm no longer, I'm not even wealthy anymore. But I used to be a pretty wealthy guy. And now I got some issues, and I hope I get to the bottom of them. And people that know me well enough know it's not intentional, and know that I've been screwed as much as you might feel. I might have an interesting story to tell, let's put it that way. And I give you that brief background. Please listen to my channel if you want to know more. Call me and ask if you want to know more. Review the horror story of my legal career if you want to know more. Read my horror story in the somewhat interesting and funny attempt to be the Cole County, Missouri, home of the capital of Jefferson City, probably the most corrupt capital in the nation is probably Missouri, and the state capital there. What a joke that is. And you see these people, self-important, running around pretending to run a place, and you wonder if it's the same on the national level. And sadly, I've got the sad impression that it's just as horrible on the national level, just with bigger risk and bigger money. And you can hear about my story anywhere you want to talk about it, and I'd love to tell more. And I do tell more, and that's why I do it on my podcast. I've only got a couple of thousand of subscribers, mostly in Russia, and because most of what I do is in Russian, and I'm going to try to do this story or a version of it in Russian. Guy named Brian Dorsey was executed yesterday in Missouri. And I listened to some of the political voices in Russia. A lot of people say they're completely tainted because they don't have freedom of speech. I disagree with that assessment, and if you think that, you don't know what it is. Now, you can't say things, there are levels of free speech. You can't say things that will destroy your country. People want to talk about Navalny. If you really want to know that story, again, read into it. Don't believe the crap that America tells you. Don't believe it. Don't believe any of the crap that you hear coming about Donald Trump. That is nonsense. That is lawyer BS to destroy a man. And that is what our system does to people that they don't like, having been destroyed by that very system, or that aren't approved, that aren't worthy of being guaranteed the same rights as everyone else. If you're not worthy of that, well, there are idiots in the government that'll figure it out. And, they're corrupt federal court judges. They exist. Don't act like they don't, because they do. There are corrupt representatives. There are corrupt at all levels. They are everywhere. And I only tell you that backdrop because I've seen it personally. You may have seen it as well. I've seen some of it from the inside. And always, when you talk about the death penalty in Missouri and everywhere else. Now, Missouri carried one out against a guy yesterday. He's 52 years old. He killed his cousin and her husband. Don't really know the details why. Not because this isn't about why. It isn't about whether he deserved to die or not. From a religious point of view, I believe you take a life, you give a life. And I believe that. And so I don't have a fundamental, basic problem with the death penalty. I don't. I am not necessarily for it because I believe that there have been people killed that weren't guilty. That, I believe, is a problem. And I read things about that both in law school and later practicing as a lawyer. I did some defense of people who are going to prison for a very long time and never did a death penalty case. Never. And I'm not sure I would. I don't know. Hasn't been presented to me to even attempt one. Sorry about the sun. It's sunny Florida. And I'm driving to my office because this is when I have the time to sit and gab the most alone in my car. And truck. At any rate, the problem, the base problem and the fundamental issue that I want to get out is the difference in thinking between punishment systems. In Russia, the death, you don't get killed for killing someone, generally. It's not a death offense. Well, they don't have the death penalty anyway. Nothing's a death penalty over there. They don't have one. And their system is different. They have a national set of laws, interpreted locally, but one national set. We have different laws all over the country. We're a republic. They have different rules, but it's not like the state of Russia going all the way across has different rules going all the way across. Anyone that's a part of Russia is going to be subject to the same set of laws. Not like America, where Florida has one set of rules, Missouri has another. And every other state has something different. Some of them are similar, but they're all different. I don't know why I'm rambling about that stuff, because my point might be lost, and I hope it's not. I hope you've listened. I hope you've made it through to the end of this, because it's approaching. The problem with the death penalty. Now, there are reports that this Brian Dorsey, that there were some 70 guards from the prison system that he was located in, either signed a petition or gave their words, gave their opinions another way. 70 that said he should not be executed, that he had been rehabilitated, and all of these things. And there he was in prison. Now, our prison system doesn't necessarily have a lot of hard labor. I've given speeches on that. I've talked about that when you go to prison, you're not really working. You know, they might have ways for you to get a job. If you're a woman, you can get a job. If the guards allow you, the male guards allow you and give you a salary to do it. You don't even have rules in the Missouri prisons that maybe they changed it by now, but they didn't 8-9 years ago have rules that said a man could not be alone in the same room as a woman. Be alone without another guard present. What kind of nonsense is that? When you have rampant sexual activity going on for the sale of cigarettes, for the sale of things. All the prison guards go, oh no, we're professional. We go through them, but not all of you, buddy. If you go to any position in the country, anything, Walmart clerk, 10% of them are going to be stealing from the till. 10% of these prison guards are going to be sharing relationships. There's in Missouri, a female prison guard got impregnated by a male inmate. Come on, these things happen, and they do. Go back and have a look at it. That was 2008, maybe 2009, maybe more. I knew of one, and I think I heard of another, but I'm sure they happen. At any rate, I've babbled enough about this without getting to my main point, which I wanted to talk about Brian Dorsey being executed yesterday. And the differences in thought process. In Russia, you get a 6-year to 8-year sentence for killing a person, but if you're selling drugs, you can go to prison for 25. They think differently, and that's a whole different podcast. They think differently than we do, period. And they think that those drug dealers are a danger to everyone. And usually someone that kills someone else, usually it's premeditated, usually it's someone they know, usually it's an act of passion where they got pissed off about something, somebody's husband, somebody's wife, just like in Brian Dorsey's case, somebody got killed there. And it's interesting to me to look at I feel sorry for Brian Dorsey. I don't only for the death penalty. If he killed somebody, and apparently he did, then he needs to go to prison the rest of his life. I'm not really for the death penalty, but I also believe that that's a bit dysfunctional when I also believe an eye for an eye, that kind of thing. But the problem is, main point, who gets to make the decision? We have idiots for judges everywhere. You act like there's some kind of a special, group. They're not. The people that get to be judges are those who can't make it as a lawyer. That's how they start. They can't make it as a lawyer. Now, there are exceptions, of course, but there are far too many that are some yahoo who can't practice law but is connected with daddy's money or local politics and knows people, but he's an idiot. Or he gets appointed by a governor. This is BS too. And our Missouri Supreme Court really needs a revamp of that, because that is exactly how you get picked in Missouri to be on the Supreme Court. Now, and I don't know any of them personally. Maybe it's not correct, but how you select those people and how you select who gets approved by a judge to be killed, that is the problem. You have some guy who gets to be a judge. Our system, I don't trust any of those guys. It's pretty sad when you go in and you're smarter than the guy on the bench. You're not supposed to be. That's supposed to be the guy that knows everything. No, they don't. And they make decisions. Here's how a judge makes a decision, okay? They don't make a decision based on the law. They make a decision based upon who the person is and what story they want the outcome to be. Because in Missouri, you're looking to get reelected. So you're going to be tough on crime to get reelected because you think that that's how people are supposed to do it. Who was the judge for this poor Brian Dorsey? I really shouldn't call him Brian Dorsey. He was convicted of murder. Okay, I don't know him. I didn't research the case. I only researched the issues surrounding his death. So, if you have different opinions about how he got there, fine. I don't know. I don't care. I think that the system is what is the problem. The system is always the problem. You have to take it as well as you can be. When I would bring up these issues in law school, professors would go, well, you have to take the system such as it is. You have to because there are too many holes in the system. Think about it from a building point of view. You're building a tall building. Do you want one person making the decision on where you're going to put the girders and how you're going to string them up? No, you want a whole damn crew. You want a whole damn slew of people who've done nothing but that for professionals. In Missouri, you get elected to judge, you could have a death penalty case right away. You could have a case where you're deciding these things. And then how you get picked to go to the next level, the joke of that system is done by our alleged in Missouri nonpartisan committee that picks candidates for the next judgeships, for appointed judge. Here's how they get picked, okay? Three lawyers, a committee appointed by the Missouri Bar, the most corrupt organization in the state of Missouri and the most powerful. They get to select 3 lawyers, handpicked by the Missouri Bar, who select the candidate for judge. And then there are 3 people for judgeships that are statewide. There are 3 people that are appointed by the governor. May be lawyers, may not be lawyers. If they're lawyers, they're not going to go against the Missouri bar because that would be foolish. And if they're lay people that aren't lawyers, they are definitely going to be taken advantage of by the 3 powerful, corrupt organization lawyers that get to pick who the next Supreme Court judges are going to be. So they pick 3 names and they present those names to the governor. And the governor gets to pick one of the 3. Now, is that a horseshit system or what? So you got 3 corrupt lawyers appointed by a corrupt organization that get to pick who the next Supreme Court judge is. So do you think that those judges aren't going to be beholden to the people that appointed them, or already so connected to the people that appointed them that the people who appointed them have the most influence? The Missouri bar has the most influence. So this is why your death penalty is a farce in Missouri, because you don't know who's picking these things. You don't know who the appeal is going to, and but you know at the Supreme Court level, these yahoos, they'll do whatever they want for political reasons, and they are not picking things based on the law. And I guarantee you, when his petition went up, it did not get a full review with a judgment of why the death penalty for him was acceptable and go through it all. He got a yes or a no, and that's what he got. And unfortunately, the Supreme Court of the United States will not interfere because they can't. They didn't interfere in my case either for the same reason. It's a state matter. Whether to kill somebody in your state, it's a state matter. Whether to kill the career of an attorney, that is a state matter, and the United States Supreme Court doesn't get involved. That process was extremely corrupt. The Supreme Court didn't even read my brief. It got rejected without even a judgment, and the judgment of the judgments, they all go that way. I am in listening to one of the Russian people when they talk about the death penalty. There was an interesting political program that I watched, and I've also watched several statements by a lady named Margarita Simonyan, and she was educated in the United States, runs a Russian television program. She's the head of broadcasting at this station, and she is also a political speaker, politologue, and she has spoken quite a bit recently. She has a YouTube channel. Don't ban me, but listen while they don't ban me, basically, is her program, because she's afraid of getting banned as well by YouTube. And she said in her death penalty look that she is not for the death penalty, but she thinks that the penalties in Russia should be quite a bit higher for killing someone. They're too low. And she thinks that, and she's speaking specifically about the terrorist activity of these idiots who went in and gunned down people going to a concert at the Crocus Music Hall. A horror story of it all. I have a different point of view for people who are somewhat in a terrorist sort of thing, or multiple killings, or serial murderers, or things like that. I have a different point of view on that. Those people are definitely kill them 1,000 times if you can. She thinks differently. She thinks that those people ought to be put in a dungeon, basically, and allowed to live on bread and water and hard labor, and that they have to, do whatever they do. I don't know, dig a mine, dig something down deep, and that is their life. You put them there, you secure them, and you chain them up for life for crimes like that. I'm not sure what the right answer is. I know that I don't want our corrupt legal system deciding who gets to live and who gets to die. I mean, it's one thing to take away somebody's livelihood because you're a corrupt system. Killing someone by a corrupt system is a totally different matter. And I think that is enough on that topic. Thank you if you made it to the end of this. Thanks to listening to my rant. And have a nice day.